The UN report came out today, and they say that there was a chemical attack, but
correct.
It doesn't say it was the Assad regime. They're not sure where this chemical attack came from. So our whole basis for going to war is there was a red line drawn in the sand by the president, and he said this is somehow or another worse than beheading and torture and everything else. So he drew the red line in the sand, and then we find out from the UN that we don't, his own administration says there is a reasonable doubt. So they say it's not even an open shut case. The UN comes out and says that he didn't do it. I mean, what are we to take away from this?
Well, this is what we know. The UN can't positively prove that it was Assad. That is correct. What they did say in the report, though, was that surface-to-surface rockets were used in this attack. That was the same information, the blaze, also occurred when the attack took place from our sources. So we know that surface-to-surface rockets were used in this attack, which means it was bigger than a canister, and it had to be delivered by a platform system, usually controlled by military personnel. We also know that the time the attack took place, between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., was an optimal time to release sarin because of the weather conditions, which means that the sarin gas, when it hit, when the rockets exploded, the sarin gas would disperse and then sink to the ground. So that's why when a lot of the bodies were found by the rescuers, they were found in basements, and they had gone to there to protect themselves, but what had happened was the sarin settled to the bottom and it killed everyone, particularly the children and the families that were hiding. So the guess is, the most probable guess is that, yes, Assad used these weapons against his people, or Assad's forces did. Maybe he didn't direct the attack. We still don't know that yet. But one thing, Glenn, that I think is really important for our audience to understand is this. We don't know where Assad has now moved his weapons. And we don't know how many Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra rebels on the ground have already gained access to some of these chemical weapons. Because we know that in 2 occasions, these groups have crossed onto military compounds controlled by Assad, which our U.S. intelligence believe was a storage facility for these chemical weapons, for some of them. And now it's believed that Assad's moved some of them out of the country into Lebanon with the help of Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, and now possibly Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood have their hands on chemical weapons. This is the biggest mess we could find ourselves in. And you're right. We can't just go in and blow it up.